Hi there, I'm Neko, a game designer and variety VTuber. I'm currently working on a barista game where you serve drinks and based on VTubers. If you haven't already, go check out my last video to get caught up with some of my progress, but we've been working on a lot of things. This last week was a lot of code, and by a lot, I mean it was all code. Last devlog we worked on designing the rating system, so this week we spent all this time implementing it. I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty of it, but for the most part, all of it works. Well, at least most of it. You're able to get a cup checked against a drink, and then you're rated based on how well you made that drink. There's a couple of edge cases that I had to test for, such as, like, what do you do when a player adds no ingredients? In that case, it gave them a score of 4 because of the flat rate, but now empty cups just gives you 0. You gave the customer nothing. Another one was, what do you do when a player adds very little or too much of an ingredient? It gave them a fairly high score because of how it was programmed. So instead of that, I made it based on how far off you were from the mark of the target. I'm sure there's a lot more edge cases, but this is the importance of playtesting. For now, we'll leave it there, and whatever code is in there, we'll just leave it, and we'll figure out the rest later. So the first thing I wanted to do was, how do I even move cups? Do I make it like Papa's Pizzeria? Do I like give a little bit more openness to let players decide where they place it anywhere? How will the cups move between the stations? All this other stuff, and that's where the designing came in. I initially thought about having a two-handed system where players would hold 2 drinks at a time. This was kind of based on how I was a barista, where I would basically have 2 drinks in one hand moving, from one station to the next. But I had a feeling that this might overwhelm people and it could be a little bit confusing. So I ended up with a click and drag system where cups and tools will snap into place based on where you drag them. I also have a hand so you can transfer drinks from one station to the next, much like the two-handed system, but not as restrictive. While I have this in place now, it doesn't mean that it can't change. I'll be trying to have focus questions primarily on this system to see if it works or not, and we'll be trying to try that out with playtesting. So now it was time to program this. And I'm gonna be honest again, I have not programmed a raycast before. Out of all my years of making games, I have not done this. So I understand it conceptually. I understand it's a ray being casted, but I don't really know how to convert a ray from a 2D plane, which is, your screen, to a 3D space. After a lot of tutorials, it only took 4 hours. It took me 4 hours. I spent 2 more trying to get it the way that I wanted to, but it looks really good, right? Look, you can move it around, it slides around, it rotates. I don't know, I think it looks great. I made a lot of cool stuff with it too. The cup tilts based on how fast you're going. It's a little floaty, but it's not too floaty. And it works really well. I'm really proud of this. It took me 4 hours. I don't know what the hell I was doing. I know what I was doing, but I don't know what the hell I was doing. You know what I mean? So now that that's out of the way, I think I want to talk about the really proud thing I am with this cycle, and a lot of it was structure. So I needed a lot of things with the cycle. I needed the click and drag system. I needed things to be attached to other things. I needed to program the equipment. There was a lot to program, and it was overwhelming. So I took my time with things. I slowed down a little bit, and most importantly, I followed the design pillar of mine, which was modular design. Having a lot of smaller objects work with a manager of some sort, and have those work with their managers was kind of the way I structured all of my code. It kind of feels like a depressing corporate ladder, except, they're all code, and I like to think that they're friends, I know that this is kind of a basic programming pattern. I know that Godot really wants you to use this kind of structure, but, after I did a lot of research and, how to structure my code like this, it kind of led to that. I had to really break out of my quick and dirty mentality where I was like, I gotta get it done just to get it done. It didn't really matter how it was coded, and think a little bit more forward and figure out how I really want to structure it, knowing that a lot of things will be interacting with each other. It also allows me to reuse certain parts and save so much more time than I would have ever, and also makes things a lot cleaner. The most important thing too is that if I wanted to try something else later or reverse a change or something, it's actually really easy to do so. You can also probably tell that there wasn't a lot of footage this week. That's mainly because it was all colorful coding, because I have my my Visual Studio Code to have pretty colors, and it helps a lot. But to show a little bit of footage of what I've been working on, here's a little bit of footage of the prototype. So you can click and drag the cups around the station. Look how it moves. Whoa! And they snap into certain places. So in this case, like the stations, these are like the stone blocks that I have like set up. You can also now make drinks with this. So you can kind of see that this cup, you can add ingredients by snapping them into the station and then clicking the button. So you can see the espresso go up a little bit more, and the more I click it, and like the water going. And it also, if you add more espresso, it grows the espresso and not like the water, and the water also moves, which I thought was cool. I thought it was really cool. You can also generate a customer and get your drink rated based on their order too. It's not fully set up yet. You actually have to do all of this in the engine still, in the inspector, which I'm still working on. It's a lot of work. I've been really busy, so this is what I got for now, and it works really well. So I'm really happy with it. And you know, it's not much yet, but this is all foundation, and honestly, I'm really proud of this. It takes a lot of time for me to get into code and everything, but building the foundation is probably the most critical part about this project, because if I don't really have a solid foundation, everything else will kind of explode later on. And the last thing I wanted to update to you all is my dog. She fell out of her bed and kind of sprained her back. And here's a picture. She's kind of sad. So you might be asking, what does this have to do with the game? Well, that means I just had less time to work. I had to take care of my dog, and all the time I was obviously trying to apply for jobs and, you know, getting rejected or ghosted. And I was also supposed to get this prototype done at the end of devlog 1. We're on 2, and this has been like a 4-week thing, but that also didn't happen. I also have to keep up with all the videos I'm editing and all the streams and all the games, and I just kind of have to slow down. And I'll be honest, this shit fucking sucks. I've had a lot of things happen with me in the last 5 years of my life. Lockdown and the state of the industry has removed a lot of opportunities away from me, more than I could actually count at this point. I've had like multiple mental health crises and got really stressed out from jobs, and it hasn't been good. 2024 was kind of my year to breathe. I quit my job, I took a year to relax, I explored, I traveled, I met new friends, I did a lot of new things, and I went to see a lot of new places. And something that I've been working on this year was just to chill out. This might be a little bit of oversharing, but I think it's important to know that everyone's path is different. I'm not a AAA developer. I'm literally just like some dude who's been making games for, what, 5, 6, 7, I don't know, man. I lost count. But I also just can't compare myself to other people who have different paths than me. I can't beat myself up for things that were out of my control. This was the hand that I was dealt, and I'll play the cards that I have. If there's one thing I want you to take away from this video, it's to be kinder to yourself. Life can throw a curveball at you at times. Sometimes it can be covered with razors, and it's also on fire, and also they're throwing it at you like you were throwing a Wii remote at the fucking screen, like it was fucking Wii Sports. God fucking damn. Sometimes you will just need time to rest. Sometimes you just need the time to slow down and not actually work. Burnout is fucked up, but it happens. It's okay to feel imposter syndrome, but just remember your own accomplishments, even if it doesn't feel like it's a lot. Like, I've become a streamer. I have like my 3rd year subathon anniversary going on, like at the time of recording. I've become a better community manager. I've been managing my stream community. I managed a club. I managed all these other things. I published my first game on Steam, Play Metal Beans right now. But you can try that. I was just like a community manager on that. I was like really happy with what I made. And I've made a lot of really fucking sick friends, like throughout streaming and throughout GDC and game dev and everything. You just need to be kinder to yourself. If you want to keep making things and keep creating, you need to trust in yourself, and things will happen to you, and that's okay. Okay, sorry to get heavy at the end there, but I think that like talking about things can help other people realize that we're all kind of in the same boat. The industry, I know, is kind of blowing up and everything else. And I feel like it's important to remind everyone else that, you know, we have a lot more value than whatever a fucking job tells us. Oh, and if anyone's wondering, yeah, my dog's doing okay. Her name's Pebbles. She's walking around. I don't know if I have enough of a video but she's walking around. Look at her. Oh my god, wow, look at her go. Oh my god. As always, I'll be streaming game dev from Mondays to Tuesdays at 3 p.m. PDT. Hopefully I get back. I was recording this during my subathon, so I think on release we'll still be doing our subathon, so that'll start like next week of publishing. I'll be posting more stuff in the Discord too. I've been already posting a couple of updates on the Discord, so you can join for that. I'll also be moving over to Blue Sky and using Twitter a little bit less because it's fucking fuck Twitter. And don't forget to subscribe for the next devlog, and see y'all soon. This is yeah, this is the part where I'm blurring the screen now. Click the other videos. Maybe rewatch the first devlog. Ooh. You know what's gonna be funny? No one's gonna see. I mean, like, if you're still here, when I was reading the fucking "don't forget to subscribe" line for the script, I would like, don't forget to subscribe for like the vlog. Jesus fucking Christ! I don't want to slip into YouTuber voices. Okay, that's it. We're done.